In this video, we're going to show you a few of the alternative plants to decorate your house this holiday season other than poinsettias. So, the first one I'm going to show you is the Christmas cactus. Obviously a traditional holiday plant, almost as popular as the poinsettia is. And believe it or not, you can get these guys in many different colors besides just pink or white. You can get them even in these yellow tones, and they are stunning. So a couple tips with Christmas cactus is you want to make sure, like with most things, that you're keeping them in bright light. You don't want them in hot sun during the summertime, but bright, indirect light. Water them when they're dry. Let them totally dry out between waterings. If they're in speed covers like this, I can't emphasize this enough with all of these plants. It's very important that you don't have water sitting in the speed cover. So either take it to the sink and water it in the sink before putting it back in the speed cover, or empty your speed covers after you've watered to make sure that there's no water sitting in the bottom. The easiest way to kill a Christmas cactus is to overwater it and rot the root system out. As far as fertilizer, not necessary during the bloom period. If you are growing these guys through the summer and reblooming them next year, you will want to start fertilizing with something like a triple 20 about once a month starting in the middle of February. You can do that every 2 weeks in the summer and then switch to a 15-30-15 in late summer to start to encourage buds to form in fall and winter. Now, the biggest thing with getting Christmas cactus and Thanksgiving cactus to flower is you want to make sure that they're getting a shorter day length in the fall and in the winter. So same with poinsettias actually. If you check out our poinsettia video, we talk about having shorter day length in the fall to get them to flower. Same thing with the Christmas cactus. So either put them in a room that you're not using much, kind of a spare room, or in a closet for about 12 hours a day so that when it's dark outside, the plant is getting darkness, and that's the key to seeing them bloom. The next plant that we'll mention is probably my favorite, which is the shooting star hydrangea. And this is a really fantastic sort of modern take on a holiday plant. You have these beautiful snowflake-shaped florets that sort of cascade like a shooting star. Just a beautiful, elegant plant. With this, main things are, again, bright indirect light. Keep it away from drafts and heat registers. Super important with this guy in particular because you want to keep it as cool as possible so that the blooms last a long time. Under average household conditions, you'll probably get 2 to 3 weeks of bloom out of this guy. If you keep it a little bit cooler, it'll last longer than that. The other thing is you want to make sure that the soil stays consistently moist. Again, with these speed covers, you still don't want to have water sitting at the bottom of the pot, but you will want to never allow the soil to dry out. You'll very quickly start to notice them wilting and browning if the soil dries out, so keep it evenly moist. Next we have the white Phalaenopsis orchid, which is another really sort of modern alternative to the poinsettia to have in your home. And this is by far the longest lasting flower out of any of the plants that we're talking about. With very minimal care, this plant will flower for 3 or 4 months, and then you can keep it as a house plant after that and allow it to rebloom year after year. So we have separate videos on looking after orchids. You can check those out on our YouTube channel, but the basics are put it in bright indirect light and allow it to get quite dry between watering. So the moss that it's growing in will feel crispy on the top and the pot will be feather light. And then just take it to the sink, thoroughly water it and let it drain out. Never let these guys sit in water. The lemon cypress has become extremely popular over the last 5 or 10 years, and it is a really nice sort of Christmas tree shaped evergreen that you can have in the house during the Christmas season. It gets its name not just from the sort of lemony color that it has, but also from the lemon scent that you will get if you rub your hands on it. These are very popularly used to make Grinch trees or Whoville trees where they're wired together and sort of bent over, which is a really cool thing. So if you want to do that, that's an option, or just keep it in its natural Christmas tree shape. It's relatively easy to grow. It likes to have consistent soil moisture, but again, never wet or waterlogged. So when you have it in a decorative pot like this or a speed cover, make sure that you're removing it from the pot to water and then placing it back in the pot once the water has drained out, or just dump your decorative pot out so that there's never water sitting inside. This is really effective when used in mixed planters with some of the other holiday plants that we've looked at today. Next we have the Wintergreen, which is one of my favorite hardy perennials. This is actually a native plant that you'll find growing in the woods here in Alberta, and it produces edible berries. These berries are actually used to flavor things like gum, candy, and even Pepto-Bismol. Kind of an interesting fact. These are grown in the garden as a ground cover in the shade. When you're growing them in the house, it is important to try to keep them as cool as possible, so certainly keep them away from heat registers and that sort of thing, and keep the soil consistently moist but never wet. It's very effective to put in mixed planters, such as with the lemon cypress as a sort of lower trailing plant. The Christmas fern is a really cool moss relative, which is actually classified as a spike moss. And these guys have this really neat whitish colored new growth that makes it look like it's got ice or snow on it. So again, a really nice one to have in sort of a mixed holiday planter. The Christmas fern is ideal for lower light situations and likes to have consistently moist soil, and they'll benefit from regular misting to keep them looking fresh. Last but not least, we have the Gardenia. Now this is a classic house plant, and they have a tendency to flower around Christmas time, so they make a really nice holiday plant in the house. The fragrance is absolutely intoxicating with these beautiful creamy white rose looking flowers. As with some of the other plants we've discussed in this video, these do best when kept on the cooler side but with brighter light, and they like to be consistently moist but never wet. So again, do not allow water to sit in the bottom of the speed cover. Check out our other holiday videos for great tips on decorating your home this Christmas, and our other botanical related videos to find out how to grow plants successfully in the home and outdoors. I'm Joe Gadbois with Greenland Garden Center. Thanks so much for watching.